Yellowstone National Park sits atop a massive volcanic system. While the thought of an eruption can be concerning, understanding the science behind it provides crucial perspective. Let us explore the science behind Yellowstone's supervolcano and address the question on many minds. Will it erupt? Yellowstone has experienced 3 massive volcanic eruptions in its history, events that shaped the landscape we see today. However, these were separated by hundreds of thousands to millions of years, highlighting the rarity of such cataclysmic events. Scientists with the US Geological Survey and other institutions closely monitor Yellowstone's every move. They track earthquake activity, ground deformation, and heat emissions. While Yellowstone is active, the current levels are not indicative of an imminent major eruption. Let's go back in time and explore Yellowstone's past eruptions. Understanding the history of an area is essential to predicting its future. And when it comes to Yellowstone's volcanic history, there's a lot to unpack. Yellowstone's first eruption was so colossal that it left a caldera nearly twice the size of Rhode Island. This eruption, which took place around 2 million years ago, unleashed approximately 2,500 cubic kilometers of ash and rock. Over the next million years, Yellowstone slumbered until its second major eruption around 1.3 million years ago. This time, the supervolcano erupted with a force equivalent to 1,500 of the 1980 Mount St. Helens eruption. It was the most violent eruption in the history of North America, and while its impact was far-reaching, Yellowstone was once again quiet for a very long time. It wasn't until 640,000 years ago that the third and most recent super-eruption occurred. This eruption, however, was much more explosive than the last two, releasing an estimated 2,400 cubic kilometers of volcanic material into the air. Each of these eruptions was unique and had its own set of contributing factors. For instance, the age of the magma beneath the surface played a role in the intensity of each eruption. As the magma beneath Yellowstone aged, it became more viscous, which may have contributed to the increased explosivity of later eruptions. Additionally, changes in the amount of water present in the system also played a role. During the first eruption, a magma-rich reservoir created a deep lake that eventually drained, leading to the formation of the Yellowstone caldera. This drained reservoir allowed cooler rock to sink into the lower depths, creating space for new magma to rise. This process, along with increasing gas pressure, likely contributed to the intensity of the second eruption. The third eruption, however, was likely fueled by a buildup of pressure from deep within the Earth's crust. In summary, Yellowstone's past eruptions were truly monumental events that have shaped the region's geology and influenced our planet's history. Each eruption had its own set of contributing factors and left a lasting impact on the landscape. What do scientists really mean when they talk about a supervolcano? How does that compare to regular volcanoes? The term supervolcano refers to volcanoes capable of producing extremely large, high-scale eruptions. But what exactly constitutes a supervolcanic eruption? To understand this, let's start with the Volcanic Explosivity Index, or VEI. This index is used to quantify the explosiveness of volcanic eruptions, based on various factors, such as the eruption height, volume of material ejected, and the area covered by the eruption. On the VEI scale, a magnitude 8 eruption is considered supervolcanic. These eruptions eject more than 1,000 cubic kilometers of volcanic material and leave behind a caldera, which is a large low-lying area that forms after an eruption. In contrast, regular volcanoes have much smaller eruption volumes and do not typically form calderas. The largest eruption in recorded human history was Krakatoa in Indonesia in 1883, which had a VEI of 6. Yellowstone's most recent eruption was a VEI of 8. To put this in perspective, a VEI 6 eruption is roughly equivalent to a magnitude 7 earthquake, whereas a VEI 8 eruption is comparable to a magnitude 9 earthquake. The difference in scale is staggering. Yellowstone's supervolcanic eruptions are hydrothermal in nature, meaning they are driven by the interaction between magma and groundwater. This differs from large magmatic eruptions, which are solely driven by magma. Hydrothermal eruptions can occur more frequently. They are generally less intense than large magmatic eruptions, which are very rare. Yellowstone is currently in an intereruptive phase, meaning it is between eruptions. During this phase, the supervolcano is accumulating magma, which will eventually trigger the next eruption. The frequency of these phases varies, and scientists are continuously working to understand the patterns and triggers. How likely is it that Yellowstone will erupt soon? Short answer is very unlikely. Scientists base their predictions on various factors such as the history of past eruptions, the behavior of the supervolcano over time, and the analysis of geological data. Based on this analysis, the likelihood of a supervolcanic eruption in the next 100,000 years is estimated to be less than 1%.
Ow.
This means that the chances of Yellowstone erupting in our lifetime are incredibly slim. However, it's important to note that the occurrence of earthquakes in the region has been increasing. While earthquakes are a natural and regular occurrence in the region, an increase in frequency and intensity could be an indication of an impending eruption. Can anything trigger a supervolcanic eruption? The answer is yes, but it's highly unlikely that any known human activity could trigger an eruption. Some of the factors that could theoretically trigger an eruption include drilling into the magma chamber, rapid withdrawal of large amounts of groundwater, or the detonation of a nuclear weapon. However, none of these scenarios are considered plausible given the current state of technology and human activity. Yellowstone Supervolcano is a reminder of the immense natural forces that shape our world. While the thought of an eruption is concerning, it's important to remember that the likelihood of a major eruption in our lifetime is extremely low. Instead, we should focus on the more probable natural hazards in the area, such as wildfires and wildlife encounters, and take the necessary precautions to stay safe. Now let's turn to some of the common misconceptions and fears people have about Yellowstone. Is it really as dangerous as some people claim? First, some people fear that a supervolcanic eruption will happen soon. However, as we've discussed, the likelihood of this is extremely low. The intervals between Yellowstone's past eruptions range from 400,000 to 1 million years. So even if an eruption were overdue, it wouldn't happen tomorrow. Second, others worry that a nuclear disaster could trigger an eruption. However, there have been no recorded instances of nuclear activity triggering volcanic eruptions. In fact, there's no scientific evidence to suggest that this is possible. Finally, some believe that the government is hiding information about Yellowstone's activity. However, this isn't true. The USGS and other organizations regularly publish updates on Yellowstone's activity, and there is no reason to believe they would hide important information. What should we really be worried about? While a supervolcanic eruption is a real possibility, it's important to remember that it's not likely to happen soon. Instead, we should focus on the more immediate dangers, such as wildfires and wildlife encounters. Yellowstone experiences regular wildfires, which can be dangerous and destructive. Visitors should be aware of the risk and follow guidelines to stay safe. Wildlife encounters are also a concern, as animals such as bison and bears can be unpredictable and pose a threat to human safety. It's crucial to maintain a safe distance from wildlife and respect their habitat. By understanding the real risks and taking the necessary precautions, visitors can help ensure their own safety and the preservation of this magnificent natural wonder for generations to come. Yellowstone National Park is a testament to the power and beauty of nature. Its supervolcano, while posing a potential threat, is also a reminder of the awe-inspiring forces that shape our planet. By embracing the wonder of Yellowstone and trusting the science, we can continue to learn from and appreciate this remarkable natural wonder. Thank you for joining us on this journey through Yellowstone's wonders and perils. If you found this video informative and enjoyed our exploration of this fascinating topic, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. And if you're passionate about science, nature, or both, hit the subscribe button to join our community of curious minds. Together, let's continue to explore, learn, and appreciate the incredible world around us.